Good morning. Welcome back to another fine, cloudy, humid day here in eastern North Carolina. It is quite humid out. Thankfully, right now there is a slight breeze. But today's video is not what I intended at all. So, and maybe that's why I'll call it not intended. I don't know. Either way, the plan was supposed to be that it was not going to rain overnight, which it did, and that it would be partly cloudy today, but hot. And I was going to finish mowing the lawn over here, and let me show you. I don't know if you could tell, but the lawn is quite shaggy. So we had quite a bit of rain about a week ago, and then we've had on and off again rain. And when it rains heavily or continues to rain, the ground gets fairly soft to the point where I'm not comfortable riding a tractor over it, because it would not sink in the mud but put indentations into the lawn, and I would prefer not to have all those indentations in the lawn, rows of indentation. The lawn's already pretty bumpy to begin with, so, but the sun's trying to peek out. So anyway, so today I'm just going to be doing some milling about. As you saw in the beginning of the video, I turned around and finally deadheaded or took off the tops of the Summer Drummer alliums. They had a beautiful display, nice little cones. I only got 6 of them. They're relatively expensive. So what I intend to do, and what I'm going to let nature do, is I chopped the heads off, and then I just took those heads and I just dropped them in the flower beds. I will let them do their thing. The seeds will fall out into the ground, and hopefully next year I have all new alliums starting to pop up. I don't know. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, we'll move on with life. I apologize if you hear any background noise, i.e. chainsaws running or jets flying overhead. It seems like it's a busy Friday all around everywhere, so. Which you can see right here next to me though, and hopefully you can see it because again, the humidity is such that it may be messing with the camera, is Mexican sunflower. And this is, as I said, I wanted a whole like hedge here in front of the veg garden, and really only this spot is taken off. Now there is some plants down at the other end. They will eventually hopefully catch up. They're still growing, looking good. But this right here is what I imagined, and it's beautiful. As you can see, there's lots and lots of flowers. So today's video is just going to be sort of, I don't know. I really know. See, I don't do scripts of these things, so I just sort of play it and wing it by ear. But let me show you some of the things that are performing well in the garden, and some of the things that are going to be happening either today or over the course of the next few days or videos. Or let me just stop talking and show you my gladiolus. I haven't mentioned it's humid out. It's very damp. I don't know if any of this is showing up in the camera, and I don't know what it'll look like until I start editing. But many of the gladiolus that I planted that my wife purchased are coming up. This is a mix that my wife got from an online vendor. Standing right in front of me right now is a purple one that's coming up. I will do close-up shots of these in just a second, but I just wanted to show you sort of a wide shot here of the gladiolus that, again, starting to spike, starting to come up. And if I'm not mistaken, these should be good for at least a month or 2, I think. I'm not sure. But if you've grown gladiolus before and you know how they grow and thrive, please leave those comments below. I'm always open to, again, hearing what people have to say. I'm not an expert, and I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. So let me know what you think or feel about gladiolus, again, in those comments below. In the meantime, aren't these lovely? Let me give you some close-up shots here. Now, of course, those aren't the only flowers that are flowering here in the garden. There's plenty more. Let me give you a walk over here to the dahlia garden, or the dahlia area. The dahlia area of the flower garden. So over here, many of my dahlias are still little, but there is one that's performing right now. This is Arabian Night, and this one's doing quite well so far. As you can see, multiple flowers. And I'll probably deadhead them in the next couple of days because there's new buds that are starting to push up. So this is just kind of an example of some of the flowers that are flowering here in the garden. You know, if we go back, let's go back over to the veg garden, because I have those sunflowers there, and I had a neighbor of mine recently come by and asked to take some pictures of the sunflowers, which was pretty awesome. She apparently loves sunflowers, and the deer do love to eat the sunflowers. So it's been so what I've had to do is put the sunflowers behind the veg garden fence. Walking, talking, walking and talking. So take a look at these guys. Huh? That's pretty nice. I even have some smaller ones that are, let me show you those. So these guys are done already, and they're starting to go to seed, which is pretty cool. So some of these other ones. Then I have this nice flower. And this guy over here, he looks like he's just about done. The bees are really enjoying that one up there. Now, since we're in the veg garden, might as well give you an update as to what's going on here. The beans, I'm still getting beans out of these plants. Again, it's two different varieties, but my favorite is the Blue Lake 47 bush bean. These rattlesnake pole beans, I'm not a fan of. I think I mentioned this in a prior video. I don't like the string. In fact, the other day I had a string sticking out of my mouth. It was really gross, but they are kind of cool to grow. My wife does like them, so I may grow them again next year. And let's see if I can get this here. Still have flowers. So that means it's going to still continue to produce, I guess, as long as we continue to pick. So, and they are nice little flowers. The loofah is moving right up to the top. And I have seen flowers on here, which means I should have a fruit. Hold on, I think I see something. That might be the beginning of a fruit or a flower. I'm thinking that's going to be a fruit right there. I think that's a flower that's done. Not a loofah expert. Last year I was just walking out into the garden and I would stumble into a fruit. So usually when I stumble into the fruit, they were yay big or bigger. I did plant these late, so I don't know how much of a loofah I will get, how much of a fruit I will get, but is it fruit or vegetable? That's a good question. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Back over here, I have the flowers at one end, my wife's flowers, and actually there's a couple that are starting to pop, so I'll show you those in a second. And here I have my rattlesnake watermelon. Never grown rattlesnake watermelon before. If you have, well, again, please leave those comments below. I keep saying that. Let me show you some of those flowers that are popping. I believe this one and that one are zinnias, I think. If I'm wrong, well, I'm wrong. But, and this one's really a bright, vibrant pink. I don't know if it's coming across, but it really is a bright, vibrant pink. Now, in the last video I did, I was starting to weed the rose garden, and I have done a little more progress on that, although you really can't tell because it is still such a weedy mess. And as I said in that video, I have to continue to work on it. And it's going to take a while because there's a lot of grass and a lot of weeds. Although I did get some of the grass out from around the rose bushes. And let me show you some of the rose bushes now, because there's some new things that are happening. And here's Mr. Lincoln, and he is putting on quite a bit of new growth, which is really exciting. So I think that between the deer spray and the barriers I've put up, the deer have left Mr. Lincoln alone for a little bit. And if he continues to grow like this, hopefully I will get some new blooms in probably September. I think August may be too hot, but we'll see. Maybe in September we'll get some nice new blooms. This bed right here has been empty for a while except for a rogue potato. And I kind of let that rogue potato grow just in case it did actually produce any potatoes. Sadly, no new potatoes. I did actually grow a couple, but they were eaten by bugs and whatnot. So what I'm going to do with this bed, though, I think, is I'm going to put a couple of bags of... I do have one bag of black cow left, so I'll put one bag of black cow, maybe a couple other bags of just some cheap store-bought compost, which probably isn't all the greatest. And then I'll amend the soil with a couple other things, which I'll show you real quick. And then I will, at later today, it's again getting hotter, but later today, maybe this evening, I'll plant up some bush watermelon. I believe it's called baby bush watermelon. They're small watermelon things. I grew them last year. You have to go back and watch. Let me get to work real quick. All right, there you go. I turned around and I didn't add the black cow or the compost that I was going to the bed, because once I started raking it over, I noticed that there was still a lot of grass clippings, which I'm sure you saw, that are still rotting down. The soil to me looks still very good. So I'm taking a risk of not putting any additional amendments in other than the earthworm mixture that I put in. It's an Espoma product. Earthworm castings or something, I think it's called. If I remember, I'll post a picture up over here if I can find it. The other thing I did was I put down Neptune's Garden crab and lobster fertilizer mix. It's an all-natural product made of crab, lobster shells, and probably some other stuff in there. That yeah, so I used that to again try to re-energize or revigorate the soil. Again, I don't think it needs that much, but I could be wrong. I'm not an expert, and again, I didn't stay at Holiday Inn Express last night. What I did do is put a mound in the middle. Wow, that sun is really starting to cook me. What I did was put a mound in the middle, because when you do plant your watermelon seeds, they recommend it goes into a mound. So that's what I did. I will come back out later tonight. I will pop those in. If we get rain, if we're scheduled to get rain, I'll just let the Mother Nature water the garden for me. If we don't, then I will turn around and obviously water it. And hopefully by, let's see, we're in mid-July now. Oh, it's actually getting towards the end of July, August, September, maybe September, I'll have some watermelon. Depends upon how fast they grow. Again, I do have a longer growing season here. So worst case scenario, maybe I'm looking at October. I don't know how the plants will respond. If I don't try, nothing will ever grow, because nothing gets into the ground. If you try and something grows, well, it's better than nothing, I guess. Again, I do have a much longer growing season here in growing zone 8A than you might, let's say, in 7A or 5A or wherever you're at. Either way, I'm prattling on, and I do apologize. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, this wasn't the video I intended on making, just sort of kind of fell that way. I intended on doing a thing about the heat, but it was cloudy out and it really wasn't going to work with the video I'd planned on doing, and I'm prattling on. So if you want to see me do more videos or see what wacky video I come up with next, please hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon below to be notified. If you think that you're unsubscribed or your bell notification has been turned off, which YouTube, for whatever bizarre reason, does sometimes, please check those notifications and hit that bell icon again to ensure that you're being notified. That's going to wrap it up for today. Check out all the links below, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.